Hey, welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is where you get your sports, some politics, some news, some mental health issues, some about disability and life, and everything else with it, folks. But today, folks, as you can see, we're going to talk about the Tigers and a little bit about the Pistons, along with a little bit about the NFL news out there that's going on. But I'm going to talk about the first game that Verlander made his comeback to Detroit after 9 years away. It didn't go as planned as we thought and hoped it would, but it happens. It really, really happens where you just can't expect a 43-year-old man to be when he was at about 32 years old at the time when he left Detroit to go to the Astros, or was traded to the Astros. Remember that, folks. So it really wasn't his fault. But going into the game, let's talk about Detroit. Saw themselves far behind in this game, made a little comeback. It was 6-9 at the end of the game, but Verlander, three, he pitched 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 1K, 80 pitches, 53 were strikes. Uh, he looked like he was struggling a lot. Couldn't find his location. The command wasn't really there. I just think that if you're a Detroit Tiger fan, I think most of us who are much older and know more about baseball than we like to think we do or know, we can kind of expect that a 43-year-old guy who was struggling a couple years ago, uh, even though he had a good year last year, the end of the year with the Astros, it was not going to be a copycat storyline for this year. I know this is only the first start for him this year. Maybe when he gets back in there this weekend on Sunday at home, it'd be a lot different, and everything else would be come out more smoothly. But I will tell you this, folks. I just think that if you look at Mike Soroka, he pitched an excellent game for the Diamondbacks. Pitched 5 innings, gave up only 4 hits and struck out 10 guys on Detroit. So Detroit, you know, it's just not going to be that easy for them just to get back to where they are. I will say that if you're watching Detroit a lot, you'll see that this kid Kyle McGonigal, uh, in his first start with Detroit, had 4 hits and 2 RBIs, 2 runs, and a couple of doubles. But this is something that Detroit really needed in the middle of the lineup. He's got a lot of power. He is very patient on the plate. He just feels real comfortable. It'd be interesting to see when teams kind of figure him out if he'll go into a bigger slump or a smaller slump, and how he'll get out of it. And that's kind of you just gotta hope that this kid just keeps moving. I will say that it helps guys like Torkelson and Riley Green in in the lineup to have this kid there as well. Glover Torres, it will help him along the way, and always helps out Javier Baez. As we know, that Javier likes to go after bad pitches. But that's the good news about Detroit. We have a lot of young hitters, and we're ready to bat. I know that Kelly Carpenter uh, was struggling in the beginning of the year. At least the first 3 games, I think he struck out 10 times, and that was the most by any Tiger within the first 3 games of the season, or 4 games of the season. So that will happen. I mean, they did put him in the leadoff. He did an excellent job last year. I'm just you're just hoping that he'll find his way. He did finally get a hit in his last game against the Diamondbacks. But I'll go back the to this game and just go along with the scoring, how each team scored. But the first 5 innings, it was all Arizona. They had Corbin Carroll hit a triple, and then Ketel Mara scored to make it 1-0. In the same inning, Morano grounded out into a fielder's choice, and then Carroll scored to make it 2-0. And then in the bottom of the site is the second, Carroll hits a 3-run home run to make it 5-0. Everything was just not looking good for Detroit. Verlander again, first time out with Detroit. I just don't want people to expect big things out of this kid or the older guy, the old man, I guess you could call him now. But I think if you could get at least him and get into the fifth inning, late fourth inning, if the score is not 5-0, but maybe 3-0, I would take that. And if he gets anything lower than 3-0 or 3 to whatever, if he can only allow about 3 to 2 runs per game for Verlander, I think that'd be great. In the fifth inning, Thomas doubled. Morano scored to make it 6-0. Lorla walked. And then Ariando scored. Bases loaded, as you could tell, 7-0. Still in the bottom of the fifth, Ketamata grounded into the field's choice. And then Thomas scored to make it 8-0. To tell the truth, folks, I was going to turn this game off. I was not going to watch the rest of the game at all. And I think it was Detroit Pistons on the same time, but I kept the game on. And then the top of the seventh, Dingler doubles, and then McGonigal scores. But that double that McGonigal got in the top of the seventh started the run for Detroit. So you got to remember this Kevin McGonigal kid. He just seems to see the ball real well. He can be patient, look for what he wants to see, and go from there. From that point on, Baez singled, and then Dylan Dingler scored to make it 2-8. Cole Keith, that's another guy that's really beneficially with McGonigal in there as well. Torres scores, and so does Baez to make it 8-4. Still in the top of the seventh, Green singles. He gets involved in the game. And then Colt Keith scores to make it 8-5. And then Torkelson gets a double to get Green in to make it 8-6. And then unfortunately, the whole thing kind of goes in shambles in the bottom of the seventh because Vargas hits a home run. And I tell you, Dylan Anderson, I don't know much about this guy, Dylan Anderson, but he gave up a really bad home run in the wrong time for Detroit because that's when Detroit was creating momentum into the game. And if I believe that Detroit could have won that game, if Arizona didn't score in the bottom of the seventh because the momentum was moving towards Detroit. Going to the next game, Detroit also lost 5-7 to Arizona. I tell you the truth, folks. I'm a little disappointed in this game because we got to talk about Casey Mize of all the guys that we are rooting for because he's now becoming more of the veteran. He's much more reliable. He got his back surgery done and his shoulder surgery, something with a knee and the back surgery a couple years ago. Casey Mize pitched an excellent game, 6 innings, only gave up 4 hits, gave up 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts, 93 pitches, 64 strikes. He did everything that you want him to do. So I mean, unfortunately for Detroit, things didn't really work out. And again, a lot of the runs that was scored by Arizona, only one was credited towards Casey Mize, and the bullpen kind of went to shambles for Detroit. But I'll go over the game. Jake Rogers doubles to center, and Meadows scores to make it 1-0 in the third. McGonigal reaches on the field single. Rogers scores. Jake Rogers scores. Cole Keith a second. And still in the third inning, Green doubles, and McGonigal scores, and Cole Keith scores to make it 4-0. And then Carpenter finally gets a single, and then Green scores, so to make it 5-0. And I think that, Arizona. They said that Arizona is missing a couple of guys. They don't have any left-handed bullpen pitchers right now. Someone's hurt on that team. But that's the one concern about for Arizona is that they can give up a lot of runs in one inning. So that's something. And remember, the rough was quite open in Arizona, and they usually keep that shut down. So during the roughs in Arizona, when it's open, the ball carries. When it's closed, the ball doesn't carry so much. So the eighth inning, Carroll doubles to center, and McCann and Lara scores, and it's 5-3. I forgot to talk about in the fourth inning, Jose Fernández home runs to left field to make it 5-1. And this guy is a huge prospect for Arizona. He's a hitter, man. He's really good. He's gonna be a lot of fun to watch him develop in that stuff. Then going back to the eighth inning, Morano ground out to fielder's choice, and then Marta scores, and Carroll out at third, and Portama to second base. Still in the eighth inning, Jose Fernández hits a 3-run home run, and Portama and Thomas score as well. And that's the end of the game, 7-5. Detroit takes a loss. Going back again with the Detroit Tigers pitching, Drew Anderson gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, only gave 2 strikeouts. Will Vest had issues himself. He takes the loss for the team and he gets credited for 3 earned runs that he gave up with a 3-run home run. But I don't know what to tell you, folks. Jensen came in and he got 1 strikeout, 1 hit, and he gave up 1 earned run in himself. But folks, Detroit's not looking so good. And if we go to the next game for Detroit, it's quite disappointing that, again, I'm kind of concerned about this as well, to see that Detroit plays their best and worst at the same time when Turk Skubal is at the mound. It seems as though that I don't want to make this a habit where Detroit, is sitting around waiting for Turk Skubal to go 7 innings or 8 innings and not allowing a run in, and then we still lose the game. I mean, this is how you're going to lose the guy to a different team. I mean, you just will. Detroit's a 2 of 4. Zach Gallen gets the win for this 1-0 game against Detroit. He pitched 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks, no earned runs, nothing. Tarek Skubal takes the loss. He gave up a 1-run home run to Carroll in the first inning, so he made a mistake. But you know what? You're always going to get that one bad mistake, but you're hoping the team scores or does something with it. So take it where you want to leave it. It's just sometimes it's just the way it goes. And let's see if Detroit can do a better job going into the next series. I think against St. Louis Cardinals at home. So St. Louis Cardinals I think they're 4-2, and Detroit's 2-4. So Valdez will be on the mound for that for the first game of the series on that. I will start doing a 3-game setup like this. I can't watch every game or because I'm at work and anything. So I'll do a 3-game setup, a series. So it could be 2 games or 4 games, up to 4 games series. So that way I can combine them together. Moving on from that, I'm going to say this about, I'm not sure about Cade Cunningham, but it was nice to see Cade Cunningham back on the bench for Detroit. Detroit's on fire. They made the playoffs without him. Basically, I don't. There's a lot of stuff going out there that says he's not making it back to the playoffs, but I don't know. I don't know. It's not based on facts, so I'm hoping that he's not. That's not true. That he will be back for the playoffs. So I mean, if we don't have him in the first round, the second round, maybe we'll get him back in the uh, uh, Eastern Championship Conference Championship game. I don't know. So hopefully that works out. And then in a final note, I want to talk about. Well, you know what? I got to talk. I did say about the NFL. Kirk Cousins. God bless this guy's soul. I don't know why teams keep signing him, and it's $172 million 5-year contract. Basically, the Raiders are only going to sign him for 1 year. That's kind of the thing right then. It's kind of like in small print. They really just want him for 1 year for $20 million, and from that point in, it's just optional for them to get rid of him. So he's still getting $20 million out of this deal to be a backup quarterback to probably Mendez from Indiana if Indiana drafts him. But I guess I don't know if he would be a good backup quarterback. Maybe because they have the same type of personality, kind of Midwestern boys, square, very nice and humbling, not obnoxious and flashy and all that. So maybe the Raiders know what they're doing. So and then I want to talk about one more thing. You guys know this guy. This guy is Jaden Ivey, and I think that everyone knows what went on with him. There's an episode that I have about mental health in Tiger Woods in that episode as well. But Jaden Ivey has been away from the Bulls. And it's just one of those moments in life where he's not there. And I think a lot of people need to realize that these athletes, especially I guess a guy like this and a lot of guys in the NBA and the NFL, I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe this is the ticket way out still. Maybe sports is still the way out of their I don't know, because his mother and his father are both athletes. And I think his mother was once a Detroit Shock player back in the early 2000s. So I don't understand why he's going through a very mental struggle in his life right now. And I guess I know I'm not being very sympathetic, but let's be real. A lot of guys have injuries. A lot of guys recover differently. And I think that there must be a time when he went down for that injury and when he's doing the recovery that his knee didn't heal correctly, or maybe he did a certain exercises incorrectly or got in shape incorrectly. But it was kind of one of those things that, as a Detroit Piston guy, you were pulling for him. But when he was with Detroit and with JB Bickerstaff, it wasn't, the chemistry wasn't there. And I just think that his mental state of mind isn't really against a certain group of people, where he publicly started to condemn people, regardless if they were his teammates from Chicago Bulls or part of the NBA LGBTQ plus promotions. I think that in some ways that he was trying to find an excuse for him not making on the team or staying on the team or being one of the guys on the team. And he was kind of in left field. And I think that he used his injury backwards. I think he should have used his injury as a footnote and say, look, I may not be back this year, which is fine. It didn't work out, but I'm gonna still go to the gym and still work out and still try and make a team. Maybe at the time he should have been thinking about the Bulls or the Pistons, or even going down to the G League and get that knee in shape. And I think that's what, to me, that was the issue. That, to me, it wasn't really him. I don't think he's a spiritual guru. I think he was reaching out for something or some ideology to make him feel better about himself. And a lot of people will use religion or their spirituality in that format. And he also attacked Monty Williams, old Detroit Pistons coach, that did a failure job in Detroit. And you know what? You could say that Monty Williams didn't develop him, but Cade Cunningham could have been the same guy that used that same excuse about Monty Williams. So I think that I just think that I think this kid needs to slow down a little bit, mentally breathe, and just not so much relax, because relaxing is such a bad word for it, but just start to uh, realize that you're not in the center of the universe. The world is not going to end if you don't play basketball again, and the world is not going to restart or reboot if you will play basketball again. I seriously think that his family needs to really sit him down and say, look, it's not your fault that you had an injury. Bad things happen to good people. And you're just that person right now where you're just going to have to go back to the drawing board, box A, and retrain and rehabilitate that knee. And along the way, you're going to have to rehabilitate your brain and your conscious mind of being positive. And I really do think that that would be his best bet. And there's a guy that used to be in Chicago Bulls, and he busted his knee too. And his name was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan did everything he did and he could to come back the following year, and he made a difference, and he didn't lose a step. Michael Jordan did not lose a step. No, did he not blame other players. No, did he not blame other teammates. He did not blame his coaches. He didn't blame anybody. He went back to work. And I think Michael Jordan's mental state of mind is something that you got to realize that's what made Michael Jordan different than a lot of other players in the 90s. Okay. He's different than LeBron James and all these other players. And I think that Jaden Ivey really needs to take that consideration of finding someone like Michael Jordan and then having him mentally train them and physically be there and mentally be there and say, this is what you got to do. I don't want you to bitch and complain about it. If you want to get back to the league and playing every game and scoring about 20 points a game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, you could do that. But it's up to your mental state of mind. I don't think this is anything similar to what Tiger Woods is trying to do or what happened to him. But after I think about it, more and more I think about it, I think these are two different circumstances completely. One guy's feeling sorry for himself for things that didn't go his way, and the other guy is out of his prime, Tiger Woods, and he has nothing to do with himself because he made no friends when he was in his 20s, and when his dad died, his Tiger Woods' brain cell kind of went on a hot flame of nowhere. Correct? That's what I'm thinking. So I hope this kind of helps people out to realize that as an athlete, you can make things different. As a person, bad things happen to you, good things happen to you. This is how you're going to be mentally balanced with it. How you're going to carry on to the next thing. How you're going to carry yourself to the next thing. So that's the moral of the story. Guys like Justin Verlander of the Detroit Tigers, he's a 43-year-old man. Now he's got to go back into the drawing board and maybe learn how to do certain pitches in a certain way or throw it differently, or I don't know what Verlander would have to do, but I'm sure Verlander is going to go back to the drawing board along with the pitching staff and trainers and look at things and see if his mechanics is different and what he needs to change. So it's about the mental state of mind, folks. I'll tell you, give me a thumbs up, give me everything that you want. Subscribe, follow me on Patreon, YouTube, follow me anywhere you can download the podcast. It'll help me out for my little second mini career, I guess you call it. So peace, love, and I'm gonna do the St. Louis Detroit Tigers through 3 or 4 game series recap for each of those games. So stay tuned. That episode may not happen till Monday, but I might talk about the Michigan-Arizona game on Saturday. So watch out for that. Peace, love, and I'm out of here, folks.